Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well today. So this morning I talked about, the Lucy Letby case, and I also talked about Axel Rudaku Banana. Now I want to focus on Angelique, stroke number one. We're only 20 seconds in. Angela Rayner, because Angela Rayner, I was trying to call her Angela Blasphemy Rayner. She is bringing in, or trying to at least, bring in blasphemy laws. So it seems like our deputy minister, or again, maybe I was right first time, seems to prioritise the Muslim community over the indigenous people of Britain. But to use the words of Sadiq terrorist sympathiser Khan, that seems to be part and parcel of being in the nonce party, the Labour Party. Or maybe I was right first time. Because you see, Keir the traitor Starmer has already declared his allegiance to do all he can to protect the Muslim community. So why not double down and get your harlot of a deputy prime minister to also double down for you? Really begs the question, if they truly are reading the room, which they're not, what are they reading exactly? I could tell you free of charge, it isn't the manual on how to run the country for your own people. That's for bloody sure. If she even thinks that these so-called blasphemy laws are going to hold up in Britain, she's got another fucking thing coming. Because we, the British people, will not stand for it. Last time I checked, this country was built as a Judeo-Christian heritage country, not a third world shithole Islamic country. So any attempt by Angela Blasphemy Rayner to try and bring the shit on will be met with extreme opposition. She cannot expect Christians in good faith, no pun intended, to willingly let a 5th century death cult rule over this country, quite frankly. In fact, you know what this does? It proves my point further and further and further each passing day. My point being, it doesn't matter how many times I say I do not want a French-style violent revolution. If this kind of behaviour continues from our treacherous establishment, then this country is going to go up in flames. Oh, that was feeble, wasn't it? Just like that. If I was going to support any bloody religion, it sure as hell wouldn't be one where the so-called Messiah, the Prophet Muhammad, took in a 9-year-old girl at marriage. 9 years old. And Allah, Muhammad, whatever you want to bloody call them, taking in underage children. But of course the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill, folks, because say it with me. It doesn't, well, it doesn't beat like that. Anyway, it doesn't suit the narrative. I really am starting to get around. Different guy this time. Oh man, it feels good. Knowing the truth gets out there is always putting a warm and fuzzy feeling in my heart. Let me be clear about that. Angela Blasphemy Rayner cannot expect this to go down well with the British public. I can't stress enough. Doesn't matter how many times I say I don't want a violent revolution. It doesn't matter how many times, likewise, that Paul Thorpe, Richard Inman, Mark Toosey, or even Tommy Robinson come out and say, we need to do this peacefully. The cold, bitter truth is, we are heading towards a revolution, whether we want it or not. As JFK said, when you make peaceful resolution impossible, you make violent revolution inevitable. And if they allow Islam to continue coming through our country, unfiltered, unchecked, this country, if it hasn't already, will become another third world shithole like the ones they come from, like Syria, like Afghanistan, like Iraq, like Baghdad, just to name a few. You cannot expect Islam, who are thoroughly intolerant of our culture, our societies and our beliefs, to basically greet us with open arms. You can't. They will never appreciate us. They will never respect us. They will never abide by our laws. And they will never allow us a chance to integrate with them. unless it's through pure subjugation. There comes a time where we have to say, we must not allow this evil on this land. And I think that time came long ago with the likes of, what was his name? Was it Khalid Mahmood? The guy who did the Westminster London Bridge attack? Something like that. But there are loads of these crimes committed by terrorists who are mostly associated with the extremist side of Islam, Sunni or Shia, one or the other. Two cheeks of the same arse, quite frankly. And as said before, this is not me saying all Muslims are responsible for this. This is me saying it is the extremist ideologies and beliefs of Islam doing this. If they bring in blasphemy laws here in the UK, then free speech will be well and truly dead. Well then, if that's the case, I'll just do like one of those songs I sang along to. Then we're breaking all the rules. Put it in all of the papers. I'm not afraid. They can read all about it. Read all about it. Because I'm not gonna fucking stop. You know why? Principles. No, not Mr. Gould. He was a wanker. Anyway, principles. That's what it comes down to. I'm not going to give up my principles for any other fucking religion. Whether it's Christianity, whether it's Islam, whether it's the religion of raving bins or whatever. I am not going to give up any of my beliefs or stop my free speech. Because under Article 10 of the Human Rights Act, I have every right to that shit. So unless they want to revoke the Magna Carta and what have you, I am still going to say what I want to say. And there is not a single person in that so-called religion of peace that will make me do otherwise. If anybody comes up to me and says, you are speaking heresy, you need to stop, I'm going to give them the middle finger and tell them to fucking do one. Because at the end of the day, I have the right to free speech. You cannot expect the ordinary British people to give up their rights as easily as giving up a piece of bread for a beggar. And as they also say, an Englishman's castle is his home. So if they want to raid my castle, then they better bring a battering ram, quite frankly, because I'm not fucking opening up. And remember, if anyone invades your home, you have the right to defend yourself. Do not listen to the two-tier police force, because that's what they are now. They're not a police service, because that would imply they're doing a service to the public. They're a police force now. They are Keir the Traitor Starmer's stormtroopers, who go in and try to suppress your free speech and your rights. So fuck them. And if any of these NPCs and the police have got a bloody problem with that, they can go ahead and bring up Norfolk Constabulary. But if you decide to arrest me, just bear in mind, you'll be proving me right. That's the way I look at it. So Islam, Angela Blasphemy Rayner, you can take your blasphemy laws and shove them where the sun doesn't shine, quite frankly. But I've devoted enough time to this, I don't even have words to describe her, this moron that is our Deputy Prime Minister. Because if I decide to go further into words of what would describe her, I'd probably say something that would see her call the police directly and have me locked up. So let's talk about now the mass shooting that took place in Sweden. Was it Obor? I can't remember. It was definitely a city name beginning with O. I can remember that much. But unfortunately, there were 10 more people that were gunned down by a scumbag, put simply. Now, I know a lot of lefties are going to be like, oh yay, it wasn't the usual suspects, those far-right racists, they can't say anything now because it wasn't someone with a different colour of skin. No, that's a crock of shit and you know it. Are we calling this bastard out whether he's got white stroke number 2, whether he has white skin or brown skin, yellow skin, pink skin, gold skin or silver skin? I really don't care. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what your colour, your religion, your creed, or your age or your sex. If you go out and shoot 10 people, you're a scumbag, put simply. That's the thing. A lot of people who they would slander as far right, knowing that's not true, they will call us racists and all that. But here's the thing. I will call out these wankers, whether they be Muslims, whether they be Buddhists, whether they be Christians, whether they be agnostics, whether they be white, black, yellow, gold, silver, blue, whatever. Because at the end of the day, or end of the day rather, you should call a spade a spade. So to anybody who is basically like, oh, look at them, they're calling them the usual suspects again, those far-right racist thugs. Yeah, you can fuck off right now. Or my classic F-O-R-N response. The Ford. Almost sounds like Fornicate. Sounds bad, doesn't it? Anyway, that's basically what I say to all those NPCs on the left who will basically say all this shit. Or say, oh, but white people can't commit these atrocities or what have you. I believe his name was Rickard Anderson. I might have got the surname wrong, but bear in mind I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head because I only saw the article for about 20-30 seconds. So I am literally going off of what little I had during my lunch break. But the way I slice it is this attack just demonstrates more and more the absolute scumbaggery of some of these people, the absolute degeneracy of some of these people. And it doesn't matter what you are, who you are, what you believe in, what your sex is, whether you've got a pair of tits or whether you've got a schlong down low. At the end of the day, I will call a spade a spade. And in this case, I will call a terrorist scumbag a terrorist scumbag. But isn't it funny how quickly the police were to release the picture of this person, how quickly they released the name of this white person. Oh, this white person must be the scum of the earth, you know, that kind of thing. So therefore they released the picture of the murderous scumbag straight away. So obviously I'm not surprised at that, considering we know the usual suspects, they usually get protected, because obviously any of these mascot groups for the oligarchy, they have to be protected from us evil far-right individuals, right? It's preferential treatment. They won't release the pictures or the names of these people until it suits them. And that, ironically, the media in this Sweden shooting instance, they still had the gall and the audacity. Despite the fact it was a white person to do this, they had the nerve to say that this was not a terrorist attack. I think anything involving people who are children or teenagers, or attacking people who basically can't defend themselves and scaring the living daylights out of people, I think I would consider that a terrorist attack, wouldn't you? Because what is the whole purpose of a terrorist attack? It's not just to kill people, it's to, as the name suggests, inflict terror upon people. Like, if I wanted to, not that I'm going to, let me be absolutely clear, I could pick up a knife and go to a dance class and start stabbing kids. Obviously, this would make me a complete scumbag. I know this all too well. But effectively, what I'm saying here is, you don't have to be of a certain religion or a certain creed to inflict terror upon people. And I'm sure if you saw me all dressed up with the claver on and with a knife in hand, I think they would be very fucking terrified, don't you? But then the media obviously won't report the truth, because right now we live in an age where the mainstream media don't hire journalists, they hire activists. They hire people who they basically want to lie through their teeth with. There will come a time and a place where these media outlets, who have been constantly virtue signalling for the so-called religion of peace, as well as lying to us about, obviously, when white people are committing these atrocities, they will be made to be held accountable, quite frankly. We will see to that. And this Rickard Anderson, or whatever his bloody name is, as I've said and cannot stress enough, he is unequivocally a scumbag. I could not have a more rancorous feeling towards this piece of shit. And as I've said before, and I will say again, regardless of colour, creed, sex, age, you name it. I will treat everyone I see in exactly the same manner as if it was a Muslim going out and committing a terrorist attack, quite frankly. Because that's what having principles is all about. As far as Angela Rayner, though, to, I guess, go back and visit this one more time, she needs to think very carefully about her next move. In fact, Keir the traitor Starmer also needs to think about his next move. Because I don't think he wants a situation where a revolution breaks out. And I cannot stress enough, I do not want violence. I do not want a violent revolution like the French Revolution. But I've said it at the start of this video, and I will say it here again. It doesn't matter how many times I say I do not want a violent revolution. The cold, bitter truth is that is the direction we are headed to. Because what do you do when you push someone to the edge of a cliff and they have nowhere else to go? Ask yourselves that. Keir the traitor Starmer, if you keep pushing us to the edge of that cliff, you will see the fight we have. You will see how willing we are to fight for our country and protect it from traitors like you two.